Thank you very much for joining us. We have Tim Case here to speak with us about AHCA NCAL National Quality Award Program. Tim, go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you, Melody, and thanks to everyone who will be listening to this for your time today and also for your interest in the AHCA NCAL National Quality Award Program. As Melody mentioned, we're going to divide the next 45 minutes to an hour up into two sections. For those folks who are applying at the bronze level, we're going to be talking about the resources that are available to help you do the best job in writing that bronze application. Likewise, for those that have already received a bronze award and are interested in applying at the silver level, about halfway through our time allotment, we'll switch over and talk about silver resources. So if you're watching this video in the recorded format, you probably be able to use the slide bar at the bottom or just fast forward until you see this same slide that you're looking at right now. But instead of Oregon Bronze Resource Webinar, it'll say Oregon Silver Resource Webinar. You can just fast forward until you see that slide come up, and that way if you're here for silver, you won't have to wait all the way through all the bronze material to get there. Likewise, if you're here for bronze, about halfway through we'll switch to silver, and you can consider yourself done as far as viewing the video at that point. So let's go ahead and get started. As most of you probably know, there are 3 levels of distinction in the National Quality Award Program: bronze, silver, and gold. And to apply at any of the higher levels, you need to first receive the award on the previous level. So you must receive a bronze award before you can apply for silver. You must receive a silver award before you can apply for gold. I want to remind everyone of the 2019 application deadline because it's coming up real soon. The deadline for submission of your applications at all levels, bronze, silver, and gold, is January 31st at 5 p.m. Pacific. Late applications can't be accepted. In fact, the whole system of the portal shuts down right at right at 5 o'clock on January 31st. So there's no opportunity to submit after that deadline. See, as we're here on the West Coast, it's real important that as you look at the application packet, you might see that the deadline is January 31st at 8 p.m. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you wait till 8 p.m. Pacific time, you will have missed the deadline. So real important to keep in mind, even when you see that 8 p.m. in the application packet, that for us out here on the West Coast in Oregon, we have to submit no later than 5 p.m. on our clock on January 31st. Well, I'd really strongly suggest that you become familiar with the application portal. The portal is that place on the AHCA website where you actually either create your application or upload your application to AHCA NCAL. I'm going to show you where that portal is when we take a look at the website, but I'd say it's real important that you become familiar with that portal now. There's a few things that you need to do. Getting set up there, identifying your center from our list of member centers, getting all that set up before you submit your application. Sometimes folks can run into some problems when they're doing those initial steps, so you don't want to be up against the deadline late in the afternoon on January the 31st, the first time you go into the portal, because if you run into any issues there, then you will not have time to get those resolved in order to submit your application. So I'd say go into the portal now, within the next couple days, early next week, and get familiar with the portal, get all that initial setup done, so that when you're ready to either build your application online by responding to the questions, or upload a PDF document that you've written as an application on the 31st, or hopefully before that, it'll be smooth sailing for you. You'll be able to get that uploaded in advance of that deadline. It probably won't surprise any of you to hear that we receive between 80 and 90% of our applications at all 3 levels, bronze, silver, and gold, on the 31st. we get about 50% of our applications in the afternoon of January 31st. And the system, it is possible for it to get overloaded. So I would really suggest that you make it a personal goal to upload your application several days in advance of January 31st. If there's any kind of issue on your end where your internet service goes down, or you can't find the right file, or there's some kind of connection problem, that we will not allow you because of that to submit a late application. The only time we ever allow late applications is if our system goes down, which it never has. So I would really encourage you to work ahead of those deadlines. If you wait till the last minute, there's all kinds of unfortunate things that can happen. Let me mention eligibility requirements at the bronze level. First of all, you must be a member of the American Healthcare Association National Center for Assisted Living. If you're a member of the Oregon Healthcare Association, you're automatically a member of AHCA NCAL, so not to worry about that. Another eligibility requirement, applicants with multi-levels of care. Say your center has both SNF and assisted living services, for example. You need to make a decision. You can write an application for the whole center, addressing both SNF and AL services in all their aspects, or you can decide to apply just for SNF or just for AL. That's your choice. There are applications specific to the choice that you make, that you want to make sure you're using the right application packet. It's pretty clear which is the correct one. However, make sure that if, for example, you say this is an application for our whole facility, that you then don't go ahead and write the whole application with a focus just on SNF or just on AL. Conversely, it's real important that if you say this is an application just for SNF or just AL, you then don't end up talking about the whole facility. So you need to decide how far your focus is going to extend and then stick to that, but that choice is yours. There are some survey requirements that are necessary as well to receive an award. And this is not to apply, it's just to receive an award. Skilled nursing care centers that have been cited for an IJ or substandard care on their any of their Medicare and Medicaid certification survey in their most recent cycle, the cycle 1, publicly reported on Nursing Home Compare as of the application deadline of January 31st, 2019, or prior to receiving award notification in, that says 2018, typo, sorry, it should say 2019, are not eligible to receive an award at any level. Now, you can submit an application. Say if you know, for example, you're not going to meet that criteria, you can still submit an application. It will be fully reviewed, and you will receive a feedback report. But even if that feedback report recommends for an award, you will not be able to receive them if you can't clear these survey hurdles. Second hurdle, skilled nursing care centers cannot have a cycle 1 CMS survey cycle score that exceeds 60 points. Same thing, you can apply, it can be evaluated, you will receive a feedback report, but regardless of the outcome of that, you cannot receive a feedback report if you don't clear both of these survey requirement thresholds. What I like to do now is take control of the screen, Melody. If you can allow that, I think I might have to request that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. No, I think you can just actually do that, right, Melody? And I want to walk our bronze applicants through the resources that are available on the AHCA website. Okay, that's great. All right, give me just a second. Okay, Melody, maybe you can tell me, are you now seeing the AHCA website?
No, not yet.
Okay. Let's see. Can you tell, do I need to do anything to share my screen, Melody?
I have the AHCA website up on my screen if you'd like to instruct me where to go.
Okay, all right. Let me bring it up on my screens. Okay. If you go to AHCA.org, that will take you to the AHCA main home screen. Notice that across about there, 1/3 of the way down on the screen, you've got a row of titles. It begins with home, then about AHCA, long-term care. The very last one in that row says quality improvement. And Melody, if you'll just hold your mouse over that quality improvement title, you'll see a drop-down list. If you move down in that drop-down list, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th title down is the Quality Award Program. Go ahead and click on that. And just tell me, Melody, when you get there.
We are there.
Okay. Now, from once you're there on the website, if you want to scroll down a little bit, you see a little dark blue box there toward the left side of the screen. And in that it says applicants, level 1, bronze, level 2, silver, level 3, gold. Melody, if you'll just click on that level 1 bronze. And tell me when you get there.
You're there.
Okay. And now if you'll scroll down just a little bit, you'll see a red banner that says application and resources. And underneath that, we've got two columns that contains our resources. The first column, titled Application Packets, has the application packet for 2019 Bronze Skilled Nursing Facilities and IDDD. So if you're an IDDD or a skilled nursing facility only, and you're going to apply, then that would be the application packet. You just click on that, you download the application packet, and then all the criteria questions are in there. I think it's chapter 6 in there, but you'll be able to find it even if it's not chapter 6. Now, if you're a skilled nursing facility that also has assisted living services, and you're going to apply for the whole center, SNF and AL, then that SNF IDDD application and criteria packet is the one you're going to want to use. If you're an AL only, if you're an AL only facility, or if you're a combination facility but you're only going to apply for assisted living, then you'd want to use that next one down that says 2019 Bronze AL application and criteria. That's pretty straightforward. Make sure after you decide the extent of your application that you use the right application and criteria booklet. Right below that, you'll see the Quality Award portal. We're not going to click on that and go into the portal, but that's how you get in, right there. If you click on that portal, it'll just open up. It's very self-explanatory, but that'll get yourself set up to submit your application. Once you get in there, you've got a choice. You can create an online application. The criteria is actually in there. It asks the criteria question. You respond to that right online, and you're actually building your application online. You can write part of it, save it, come back to it. What you wrote will still be there. You can create the whole thing online. If you're trying to decide whether to do it that way or just write a PDF document and then upload it to the portal, I would suggest that you go with building it online, because that's the wave of the future. And within the next couple of years, maybe even next year, that'll be the only way to submit an application. So that's what's coming. I would suggest you go that direction. Some other resources that are available for you in that next column: the application calendar that's got all the dates and deadlines. Really, the only really important one you need to know right now is the one we already covered, January 31st at 5 p.m. Pacific. Then there's a submission checklist. There's several things to consider, whether you've written and met all the technical requirements, the survey requirements. This is an actual checklist where you can check everything off as you get it done to make sure that your application is really ready to submit before you submit it. It's a great tool. I suggest you use it. But by far our most powerful resource at the bronze level is the 2019 Bronze Criteria Series. You can go to the AHCA NCAL ED website and search for the Bronze Criteria Series. It's a short video. There's a short video for each of the 21 bronze criteria. We use a case study, show you an example of a application addressing each one of those 21 criteria. introduce you to the examiner key questions. It is by far and away the best way to go about writing a bronze application. We track these, and the statistics for folks that report having viewed the bronze series and then go on to actually win a bronze award are very, very high, in the high 90%. If you use this bronze criteria series, watch it before you write each one of the responses to the bronze criteria. You got to have like a 95% chance of actually winning a bronze criteria. So it's a great thing to do. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. The videos are short. Every one of them, typically they're around 4 to 7 minutes long each. Great investment of your time. Right below that, there's a viewing guide for that series. You don't even really need the viewing guide. You can just go to ED and watch it from there. Below that is an Excel spreadsheet that's got a listing for every state of facilities that are eligible to apply. I think that one looks like it's got a lock on it, because I think it doesn't resemble or represent a final and most up-to-date list. I really wouldn't bother with that. If you're a member of Oregon Healthcare Association, and you meet those survey requirements, you're eligible to apply. And the last one is just kind of Baldrige in the news. As you know, this program is based on the National Department of Commerce Baldrige program, so we do have some little news about that in there as well. Those are all of the main resources available at the bronze level. So now, Melody, if we could switch back to the slides, that would be great. I would just recommend, while Melody is switching back, that as you're looking at those resources, some of them might seem like, this takes a lot of time to use this resource. It will save you more time than it costs you. So I would really encourage you to use those resources. Really, kind of the point of this webinar. Okay, Melody, I am back at the I'm looking at the GoToWebinar, and I'm not yet seeing slides. Should I see them at this point?
Yes, you should be able to see the slides. Go ahead and click the little blue flower along the bottom of your screen.
Okay. There we go. You're good at this, Melody. All right. So I think our next slide is just gonna refer to go into the website, so we can breeze through that. I'm trying to advance the slide here. Doesn't seem to be working, Melody. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, okay. So let's just go to the slide of plan of attack. Become familiar with the portal as soon as possible. Don't wait till you're ready to submit your application. Watch the bronze series and write as you go. Don't watch the whole series and then sit down to write your application. You won't remember all the things that you have seen. Much more efficient for you to watch the first webinar and then respond to that criteria. Watch the second one, respond to that criteria. Before you know it, you'll be through the series. By the time you get to the end of the series, you'll have your application complete and ready to submit. And then make sure that you submit your application via the Quality Award portal well in advance of the 31st. There's a little delay in these slides. I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around it a little bit. The first criteria is P1A1, and sometimes on these webinars we view the video. We're not going to on this one, but as you view that first one, 4 things to pay attention to, and this will really help you throughout the writing process. There's going to be a look at the criteria itself. Then there's going to be something called the key examiner's questions. Then you're going to look at a case study example. Sometimes that example is a perfect answer. Sometimes it's an adequate answer. Sometimes it reflects the common mistakes that we see made. Anytime it reflects a mistake, then the video will identify that mistake, talk about that mistake, and help you not make that mistake when you write to that particular criteria. On those examiner key questions, I train the examiners that the only thing that they consider when they are making the determination, does the application meet this criteria, yes or no? The only thing they can do to determine their answer to that is by using what's called the key examiner questions. The videos for each one will focus on the key examiner question or questions for that particular criteria, and they can always be answered with a yes or no. If the examiners have to answer yes, they have to say that the criteria is met. If they say the criteria is met, often enough as they review those 21 criteria, that at the end they have to recommend you for a bronze award, and you will in fact receive a bronze award. So those key examiner questions are absolutely key. So make sure for each one of your responses, you read the key examiner question and ask yourself, would the examiner have to say yes to these questions as they read what I've written here in my response to the criteria? That is like an almost guarantee of a bronze level award. I'll just leave you with I'll just let you know that one of the key sources of learning for us at the program is the questions that applicants and potential applicants ask us. So never hesitate to ask a question. That's how we improve the clarity of our writing in the criteria itself and in the application packet. If you have any questions at all concerning a particular criteria or any other aspect of the program, just shoot an email to qualityaward@ahca.org. This inbox is monitored by 5 different people during full business hours, 5 days a week. So if you submit a question, chances are, no guarantee, but chances are you'll receive a response within an hour with an answer to your question. You will receive an answer within the day if you submit during a work day. So we monitor this and get back real quickly. A lot of times people think about asking a question by email as your last resort because it might never get answered or it might take a week to get answered. Not the case with this inbox. You send a question to this inbox, qualityaward@ahca.org, you will get an answer to your question from an expert in a very, very, very short time frame. So take advantage of that as well. Well, Melody, that's it as far as what we've got for the bronze. So let's go ahead, if we can, and pull up those slides for silver, and we'll move to our silver audience. If you're a bronze applicant and you're going to be leaving us now, thank you very much for your time and your interest in the Quality Award Program. We look forward to seeing a great bronze application. Lots of great bronze applications from Oregon this year. Thank you. Okay, and for folks that are joining us now in the second half of the presentation, you're a bronze recipient and you're interested in submitting a silver application packet. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your continued interest in the Quality Award Program. I don't know how long it's been since you received your bronze award. It might have been 10 years ago, or it might have been last October, but regardless, congratulations on that achievement. What we're going to talk about here are some nuts and bolts concerning the program. Make sure you've got some an understanding of some key elements of the program, and then we're going to get right into some resources that, as a silver applicant, will serve you in good stead as you're writing that silver application. There are 3 levels of distinction with the Quality Award program, and as you know, you've got to win the preceding award before you can apply for the next. I'm assuming here I'm talking to a bunch of bronze recipients. You won that bronze award, and now you qualify to apply at the silver level. Likewise, once you get that silver award this year or in subsequent years, then you'll be eligible to apply at the gold level. The application deadline for this year, for 2019, is coming up fast. January 31st at 5 p.m. Pacific. Always like to mention that late applications cannot be accepted. The actual portal, the way applications get collected and delivered to us shuts down right at 5 p.m. Pacific. Note that that is 5 p.m. Pacific. As you look in the application packet, you will see 8 p.m. written in there. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because AHCA is located in Washington, D.C. on the East Coast. For those of us here in Oregon, that's 5 o'clock on our clock. So don't get confused there. If you go to submit an application at 7:15 Pacific Time, on January 31st, you won't be able to because you'll be past the deadline at 8 o'clock back on the East Coast. So keep those time zones in mind. And again, applications cannot, under any circumstances, be accepted. And one thing I always mention every year, we hear some really very, very sad stories. They really are, of people that have worked hard on bronze and silver and even gold applications. But time runs short, and they try to get that application submitted on the afternoon of January 31st, and their internet service goes down. They discover a problem with their application. The credit card that they were going to use to pay the application fee doesn't work, and suddenly, they end up missing the deadline with that application they worked so hard at in hand. And there's nothing they can do with it except wait another year. We don't want that to happen to you. It probably won't surprise you for me to tell you that we receive the great majority of our applications every year on January 31st. Don't be one of those. Be one of the people that submits 2 or 3 or 4 days early. So get that application in, and then if anything comes up, you've got several days to get that problem resolved and still get your application in on time. As we look at the website in just a couple minutes, one of the things I'll mention, I'll show you the link to the application portal. The portal is the new way that we use to collect the applications at all 3 levels. You're going to have a choice when you get into the portal. You can build it online. Actually go online. It poses the criteria question. You respond to it online. Just write it right in there online. You can save your application, come back, and everything will be there, and continue to work on it. It's a really nice way to do your application. One of the great advantages, that there is a technical check that we do, technical requirements. You have to write in Times New Roman, 12-point font, or Calibre 11-point font, limited number of pages. Got to have margins. It's got to be at 8.5 by 11 format. All kinds of stuff that you got to keep track of. If you submit your application online, you actually write it online. All that stuff is controlled automatically. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It tells you when you've used up all the space available, so you can't go over. It automatically writes in the right font, the right font size. It won't let you submit the application if you've not responded to every criteria. And so that's another one of the technical checks. Often we'll get applications where a silver applicant has inadvertently failed to address one or more of the criteria, and they get disqualified for that. If you write it online, none of that can happen because it won't accept the application until it's right. And it'll tell you specifically what's not right so you can fix it. If you choose, however, to upload a PDF document, you can do that as well. There's none of those safeguards, though. And so just kind of keep that in mind. Regardless, I would suggest that you get into the application portal now and do the initial steps required to identify the center for which you're applying for, and take some initial steps that you can do right now, so that if things go wrong and you're rushing against the deadline on January 30th and you get in there 31st and you get in there and there's an issue, there won't be any issue with those initial steps, because you will have done those well in advance. So I'd suggest you get into the portal, get that set up as soon as possible. I'd say put it on your to-do list for Monday of next week. Eligibility requirements. You got to be a member of AHCA NCAL. If you won a bronze award, that's your indication that you are a member. At least we're a member there. If you're a member of the Oregon Healthcare Association, you're automatically a member of AHCA NCAL, so not to worry there. Applicants with multiple levels of care. Just like you did at bronze, you get to choose. If you're running a facility, a center that's both SNF and AL, you can apply for the whole facility. You can apply for just SNF. You can apply for AL, and you'll tell us that right up front. Whatever you tell us, make sure you are consistent, okay? If you apply for the whole facility, address the whole facility. Just SNF, address just SNF. AL, just address AL. Here's an important thing to remember, however. You want to make sure and check the nature of the bronze award that you won. If you applied for, say if you're a combo facility and your bronze was just for SNF, then your silver has to be just for SNF. Okay, you can't wrap assisted living in at silver without having them be part of the bronze award. Now, if you applied separately, maybe even different years, you've got a bronze award for SNF, and later on you got a bronze award for assisted living, then you can combine them because you have achieved bronze for both of those type of services. And if you want to combine them together and write a combo silver application, that's fine. If you want to keep them separate and write separate SNF and AL silver applications, that's fine as well. Just be consistent. Survey requirements, you're familiar with these. They haven't changed. Skilled nursing centers that have been cited for a regulatory deficiency for IJ or substandard care in any of the M&M certification surveys in their most recent survey cycle, that's cycle 1, publicly reported on Nursing Home Compare as of the application deadline of January 31st or prior to receiving award notification in, and that says 2018, sorry, it should say in 2019. So if you're fine now, you submit an award, but then you get an IJ or that substandard care before you're notified that you've won an award, we still can't give you an award. That's just the policy of the program. We will evaluate your application. We will provide you with a full feedback report, but even if the feedback report rises to the level of receiving a silver award, we can't give it to you. Same thing with skilled nursing care centers that have a Cycle 1 CMS cycle score in excess of 60 points. Same issue. Happy to review an application, happy to provide feedback report, but you can't receive an award in that particular year. So now, Melody, if you could go ahead and take us to the AHCA website, and I'll switch over to the website myself, and we'll walk through that. Okay, at the AHCA homepage, which you can get to by just putting in your browser address of ahcancal.org, what you see at the top of the screen there, that'll take you to our main homepage. You'll see a blue ribbon running across the screen right below the big white AHCA. It starts with home on the left. It ends with quality improvement on the right. Melody, if we can go to quality improvement, the fifth one down. I just noticed. Also, notice the second one down is the AHCA NCAL ED. Just note that, but we're going to go all the way down to the fifth one, Quality Award Program. And if you can click on that, Melody, and then scroll down a little bit, and in the blue box there toward the left, you see where it says Applicants, Level 1 Bronze, Level 2 Silver, Level 3 Gold. Let's click on Level 2 Silver. This is the page specific to silver applicants. If you scroll down a little bit, Melody, you'll see a red ribbon that says application and resources, and then 2 columns, a short one on the left and a long one on the right, and those are key resources. Excuse me. The first one in the left-hand column is the actual 2019 silver application and packet. That's got everything we've covered plus a whole lot more, and that's where you'll find the silver criteria, the questions to which you're going to provide responses, which will make up your silver application. You want to just open that and download that, and that's what you're going to be working from. Right below that application and criteria is the Quality Award Portal. That's what we were just talking about. When you need to, I would suggest on Monday, go in and get your initial steps set up in the Quality Award Portal. That's what you'll click on, is that link right there. Then in this longer right-handed column, we've got a long list of some great resources for silver applicants. There's the application calendar, which tells you all the key dates, deadlines, and other dates associated with the entire program. When the application is due, when you should expect to be notified of whether you received an award or not, when you should expect your feedback report, when recipients will be honored at the convention. All the entire year is right there. Beneath that is a great submission checklist. That's got all the minor components of making sure that your application is ready to submit before you submit it, including the technical check, all those particular pieces. They're all right there. That's a great resource. I would suggest you download it, you print it out, and you actually use it as it was designed. Check those things off as they're completed, and have that checklist in hand when you're getting ready to submit your application, so you can look at it, you can verify that all those important things were done prior to submission. There's a sample silver application and feedback report for you to take a look at. One caution, you know this already, but we do an originality check across all applications each year. And we check, say if your silver application will be checked against all other silver applications submitted for 2019, all silver recipient applications, the ones that won a silver award last year for 2018, plus every learning application that we provide, including this sample application. So under no circumstances do you want to copy anything out of this application and paste it into your application. That will immediately flag as non-original and you'll be disqualified. Another powerful resource is the 2019 Silver Criteria Series. You'll recall a one page back when we were doing that drop-down list, the first thing on the list was AHCA NCAL ED. If you go to that link, the ED link, you can search for the Silver Criteria Series. Over 2.5 hours of material to help you make sure you are writing and submitting the best silver application possible. The guy who does this criteria series is a very popular and in-demand consultant for folks writing applications, and he gets paid very well to do that. This is the same material, a lot of the same material available to you at your convenience, absolutely free of charge. It's a great resource. Jeff Calhoun is the presenter. He just does a really nice job. There's a silver self-assessment instrument. Some of you might still be wondering whether you want to submit silver this year. If you're not quite sure, a great place to start is the silver self-assessment instrument. Even if you have already decided for sure you're going to apply, you might even have your application halfway written. It's still a great thing I would suggest you stop where you're at right now and do this download and complete the silver self-assessment instrument. It doesn't take long. And even if you're saying, well, I don't want to be told I shouldn't submit an application, I've already got it halfway written, it can still serve you well in that it will identify areas that might be weak in your application, so you have the opportunity now to focus on those and strengthen those areas of your application prior to submitting it. You can actually do a little pre-evaluation before you submit your application. It's a great resource. Potential AL data sources. We're in category 7, we ask for a lot of results. We ask for comparative results. A lot of times we hear from assisted living providers who say there's just no data out there. This is a list of AL-specific data sources that you can access and use, most of them free of charge, that will give you that comparative data that you need for your silver application. Also, people say, AL applicants will say, I'm not sure what kind of results you want to see from an assisted living provider. Here's a great sample silver assisted living category 7 results sheet that will give you a look at lots of appropriate assisted living results. These are not mandatory results. These are just results that have been deemed to be appropriate in response to the Category 7 criteria. Secondly, or next, if you need some comparative data, don't skip another resource that's available to you free of charge as an AHCA member, and that's LTC Trend Tracker. You have got great comparative data there available to you just with a click of a couple of buttons. So it is a great way to get the comparative data that you will need. Silver scoring calibration guidelines. As you open this up, this is a big, long, complex document. Don't be scared, however. You don't need to use this to write a good silver application. But this is a nice thing to have. Maybe later on to take a look at, given the proximity of the deadline. Now, if we still had 3 months till the deadline, I would say definitely read this and understand it, because this is the tool that examiners themselves use to come up with the scores that they will give your application. And so it's a great, we just in the spirit of openness, right? We want you to understand exactly how we do our work. And so this is a very interesting document. Here's how you can actually use it and get some great value out of it, either this year or in subsequent years. Before you get ready to submit your application, you can actually go through and use this scoring calibration to pre-score your own application. You might not do as good a job as a trained examiner might do, but it'll help you do a good enough job so you can identify some of the weaker areas of your application before you submit it, right? Another way of evaluating your own application before you submit it, it gives you the opportunity to shore up and strengthen some of those areas so you can get higher scores when it is submitted. Here's a list of quality award eligible facilities. I wouldn't bother with this one right now. It doesn't represent the final list. There might be some folks that are eligible that aren't on the list. If you're a member of the Oregon Healthcare Association and you pass those survey eligibility and you haven't been disqualified in the past 2 years for submitting a non-original application, then you are eligible. Also, we've got a silver award-winning application, Glen Hill Center, that has written a really nice document on some of their best practices. It's just a really good resource, not so much to improve an application, but to improve a facility that then can be reflected in a better application. And then some Baldrige in the News information there that you might find of interest as well. There's no level, bronze, silver, and gold, where we have more resources than at the silver level. Just lots and lots of really good stuff that you can use to help you submit the very best silver application possible for your center. Melody, let's go ahead and jump back to the slides if we could. Let me touch again just real briefly on the Silver Series. 5 videos, 2.5 hours of materials, includes how to use that self-assessment instrument, the power of the organizational profile. For all you folks that still recall the elements of that bronze application, that bronze application, almost word for word, not completely, but almost word for word, is going to become your beginning section of your silver application. We call it the organizational profile at the silver level. And also, Jeff in the Silver Series is going to give you some great insight into the process categories. That's categories 1 through 6, and the results category. That's category 7. Here's a great plan of attack. First step, Monday, I would say, if you haven't already, get onto the portal and get yourself, just take care of those first few steps. And once you get in there, you might take a look. You might decide, hey, you know what? I think we're going to just apply online. You can, even if you've got say an application halfway written in Word, you can just copy and paste right from that Word document, drop it right into the appropriate spots in the portal. You don't even have to do any retyping. So think about that. I'd really suggest that you go with an online application for this year. Then watch the Silver Series, and remember to write as you go. As you maybe watch the part on the organizational profile, then write your organizational profile. And actually what that is going to be is taking your old bronze application and rewriting it to be a fully responsive organizational profile. And then submit your application via the Quality Award portal, your choice, either online or uploaded via the portal, no later than January 31st at 5 p.m. And I would just suggest again that just set a personal goal of having your application ready to submit a couple days, 3 days maybe before that deadline. That way you'll avoid the rush, and anything, you have any last minute problems, you've got time to fix those before that deadline. I want to conclude by just mentioning our inbox, qualityaward@ahca.org. A lot of times when folks have questions dealing with stuff, they think about sending an email as like a last resort, because you might never get a response from it. You might not get a response for several days. That is not the case with this inbox. 5 people monitor this inbox. From first thing in the morning on Monday to the last thing in the afternoon on Friday. And you will receive a response to any question posed to this email box, typically within an hour or so, but always within the same day, unless you're submitting it at 4 o'clock Pacific and the office is already closed in Washington. Keep that in mind. But if you get stuck, you've got a question about criteria, you've got a question about the portal, you've got a question about anything related to the Quality Award program, simply shoot that question to us via this email address, and you will get not only a quick response, you'll get a right response, because it's always the expert in the area that your question pertains to that'll get back to you and will provide you with everything you need. Well, Melody, thanks for running the slides for us. Do we have any questions? And we can, if you want to open up the phone lines, that's fine. Did we receive any chat questions?
There were no questions that were submitted online.
Okay.
Great.
Well, remember, yeah.
For joining us, Tim, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you and all this great information. And we look forward to making this available to our members as they continue to apply.
You're very welcome, Melody. We'll look forward to some great silver applications from Oregon.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon.